There's a quick video. Oh, I keep saying quick video. Might be 5 minutes, might be 10 minutes, who knows? About a method that is tried and tested. It's a really useful method for any GCSE analysis of any text, whether it's fiction or non-fiction. A couple of people have asked me about this on email, about this particular method, because it really, really helps you analyze a text. Even if you're not sure about what the text is completely about, it still allows you to pick up some marks because you analyze individual word choices. So, for example, on paper 1, this is useful for question 2. It's also useful for question 4. And similarly, on paper 2, it's useful for question 3 and question 4 as well. So again, it's a method. It's not a way to answer a question. It's just part of a toolkit that you can use. Things you need to have: your text. Things you need to have: your head. And really, you need to think about synonyms for this one, because the synonym method, and one thing I'd recommend for this is you might want to use an online dictionary, the thesaurus method, just when you're starting out. But really, the way to get the most out of this is to improve your vocabulary. So from the point of view of synonyms, having synonyms available in your memory is the thing to do. No teacher can just give you a better vocabulary. That's something you need to work on yourself. Okay, but this is more of a method. Once you've done it once, we'll have a go. All right then. So let's move me out of the way. All right. So here's a really, really short bit of narrative. It's in third person and it is about some puppies. And I thought I'd write about what I know because I know about puppies. So here we go. The puppies were running riot. One was in the garden. The others were fighting over a box of newspaper. I couldn't believe the mess they'd left in the hall. So a really straightforward description of the puppies. Obviously, this is making the puppies come across as little lunatics, which obviously they must be, scrapping and biting and making a mess, causing all sorts of chaos in the house. And those anyone who's ever looked after a dog will know what they can be like. They don't mean it, of course. They're only puppies. They need to learn. They've not got the good behaviours yet. Okay, so first things first, I've highlighted a couple of words that if I was analysing this paragraph, would focus in on. These are the words I like to call the spicy words, or the words that jump out to you. Again, this is another skill that you have to basically develop yourself. Find a word that jumps out to you as interesting. A word that it's got some meat to it. It's got proper, it's got spice to it. You can actually explain it. So a couple of rules of that. When you find your quotation, we're looking at individual words here: fighting and mess. Firstly, you need to know what the words mean. So obviously these are both very straightforward words. They are just words that are pretty high frequency words. You know these ones already, not just from GCSE, you know this from prior study. And you know what they mean in context. So puppies who are fighting, puppies making a mess, you can explain that. So basically you've got to think in your head, could I explain this to some random person about what the text is about if they can't read the text? Yeah, I think these words are fair enough. All right, so I've highlighted them, so it's almost like I've got the highlighter in the exam room. So I've highlighted it just like you would do to emphasize it. I'm not necessarily focusing on the word class at this point, but you can work out really easily what they are. Fight plus ing, so you can tell me it's a verb. Yeah, well done. I heard you there. And likewise, I couldn't believe the mess. We've got mess, and it's got the written before it. So most words that have got the or a before, you can work out it is actually a noun. Yeah, brilliant. So in this case, a common noun. It's not capitalized, and you can work out what it is. All right then. So this is the synonym method. It's an approach to looking at vocabulary. You can use this for any language question, and once you've learned how to do it, it's a piece of cake. All right. So 2 words that I picked up on: fighting and mess. This is stage 1. So stage 1 of the method. So you could write this down or put this on the side of your exam paper or just do it in your head. You separate the words from everything else. So don't think of these words as part of full sentences yet. Just view them as individual words. So you're completely separating it. It's like you're taking one ingredient out of a cake. You're just taking the icing off. You're just taking the candles off. Don't eat the candles, but you get what I mean. You're just taking the letters off. And this is what you need to do. So fighting, you need to think to yourself, right, what else comes to mind when I think fighting? So I've done a few examples that I'm going to reveal to you now. I think fighting, gut reaction. I think misbehaving. I think if you're fighting, you're not behaving yourself. I also think it's bad. It's bad to fight. And another word that's probably the best synonym of them all, brawling. It's the most like-for-like comparison. So with your synonyms, just be aware, you won't always have 100% like-for-like similarity between the words. I mean, bad doesn't mean it's fighting. Misbehaving doesn't mean it's fighting, but they're similar. They're similar ideas, and that's what you need to do. I'll colour those in. So they're my synonym words just for fighting, all done. Before I write anything else, I've got my ingredients ready to go. Right then, next one is mess. So I think mess, what do I think of? Chaos. I think of the mess left behind by oil disasters, the mess caused by landfill, the mess caused by pollution, all that stuff. It's chaotic, it's terrible. I think disasters, again, slightly hyperbolic, but the same idea. Mess, for me, makes disasters. And lastly, it's untidy. So probably the most straightforward synonym there. So I've kind of gone down to the most straightforward ones. So we've got our quotations, and then we've got the actual synonyms that go with them. So these are like the babies of the main idea. So the main idea is there, that's your quotation, and then these words have the synonyms that go underneath. And essentially, you're going to be able to use these synonyms to explain the quotations you've already picked. So you're not having to think of anything brand new after this point. This is just going to be explain the story using these synonyms. Okay, so we're going to do that in just a second. Okay, we're back. So we've done our first part of the synonym method. So step one is to find your synonyms or closely related ideas. Write them down. You can do this as a spider diagram, do it as a little bullet point list. That's up to you. Right then, what do we actually do now? If we're going to write a paragraph about something that's been written, about a story, we need to focus on the process of story writing. So as always, this has never changed. We always mention the writer first. The writer does something. The writer does something. And all you need to do is decide what writer verb you're going to pick. So they can describe, they can portray, they can explain. Doesn't matter what it is. I'm going to put these in colours just so it stands out. And again, we've talked about this in class hundreds of times. As long as you are explaining what the writer's done, you're going to get more marks than just saying this happens, this happens, this happens. Okay, so how did we do that? Fighting, misbehaving, bad, brawling, mess, chaos, disaster, and untidy. Here's how we could write it. The writer describes how the puppies are behaving badly by brawling and misbehaving in the house. By using words such as fighting, it shows how chaotic and unruly they are. So you see, all we've done here is use our synonym words to basically expand on the original quotation. So fighting gives us these ideas. So the ingredients are already there. You've already done the hard work. When you did this, you did the hard work there. Okay? And the writer also portrays the mess they are making, which has connotations of chaos and disaster, as these puppies are leaving the house so untidy. So again, just using your synonyms to back up what you're saying. You've already got these ideas. All you're doing is putting the ideas together. Okay? So that is the synonym method. Things it's done, it's mentioned the writer, it's got quotations, it's properly explained the quotations, and it's done it in context. It's not just said, the writer describes how the puppies are fighting. Fighting is really bad because fighting hurts you. Fighting makes me feel sad. It's not that. That's not the synonym method. You have to explain it in context. So by using these words, it shows how chaotic and unruly, you can even change it, the puppies are. See what I mean? So it all comes together. All right, so that's the synonym method. You can apply that to fiction, non-fiction. It's a process. It's not a thing you've learned as a thing. It's a process. It's a method. You have to practice it. You can do it with any sort of text, and you have to think of the synonyms yourself, because I'm not going to be there in the exam, and I'm not going to be, well, no one's going to be there in the exam apart from you. Okay? See you later.